For prospective students applying on or after November 1st, post-graduation work permit eligibility will depend on the level of study. Graduates from bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree programs will remain eligible for a work permit up to 3 years. These graduates are more likely to acquire transferable knowledge and skills and be able to adapt to changing economic circumstances over the long term.
If you are an international student looking for that post-graduation work permit to start your career in Canada and eventually get your permanent residency, the government of Canada has just released important news that will affect you, so pay close attention to this video. Hey, if you don't know me, I'm Teacher Mike, founder of ExpressPrep, and I help immigrants become residents in Canada by improving their English and living life to the fullest here. So let's get started. New changes for the international students that are in Canada, and these changes will take effect in the next 60 days of recording this video. So this is super important. Pay very close attention here right now. First of all, there will be changes mostly to new PGWP eligibility rules, and second, to the new language requirements. So we're gonna dive into the changes for the Canadian post-graduation work permit, or as we call it, PGWP, because the Canadian government has rolled out these two very significant updates that change everything for you. Now, even though there are other changes, such as lowering and limiting the number of temporary residents and other changes to work permit for spouses, the most important change is about the PGWP, because that's what really affects you, as it's your ability to get a job in Canada. I can make another video about the other changes. Just tell me in the comments, okay? So let's go. First of all, let's talk about the new PGWP eligibility rules. So all master's, doctorate students, and university graduates from any university can still apply for the post-graduation work permit without restrictions. So Mark Miller, the Minister of Immigration, has said that this is because these students are able to better adapt to changes in the economy of the country. As we know, that's okay, but most students that are in Canada are actually at the college level, and for these students, they have changed one major thing. So for any college student, the eligibility of your post-graduation work permit, so your work permit after you graduate, is dependent on Canadian labor market shortages. So this means that not all college programs will qualify, only those in high demand fields will get a PGWP. Now, this is a problem that the government will have to talk about and solve it, and I want to talk about it later. So just focus here with me. Let's go to the second problem. There will be new language requirements for PGWP. So a part of change that they have put into effect now is that everyone needs to meet a minimum CLB. This changes everything, because in the past, you only needed a language exam such as CELPIP for your PR when you apply for the PR. But now you're gonna need 2 times, when you apply for PGWP and another one when you apply for PR. However, if you are smart enough, you can do it once. Do it once and you apply for PGWP, and as long as your score is high enough, that's gonna be useful for your PR. So pay attention. For PGWP now, if you are a university graduate, you need a CLB 7. And if you are a college graduate, you need a CLB 5, right? So of course, speaking English or French is important for success in Canada, right? English a lot more. So that's why the government is adding these changes. It makes sense. And if you are an immigrant, I know this kind of sucks, but once you get your PR, I think you're gonna be happy that these changes are happening now, because it's going to make for a better job market, better opportunity, and even better paying jobs. So now that we understand the changes, let's talk about what these things change for you. Why does it matter for you? So number one, if you are graduated from a college program right now, your eligibility depends on whether your field of study is currently in demand in Canada. And I believe that this will have 2 main consequences for you as an international student, or if you are a future international student. So first of all, I believe that this will reduce opportunity, right? If your college program is in a high demand field, I think it's not a good idea to go for it. You may struggle for a PGWP and you may never get to work in Canada, right? You may have to give up Canada entirely and go back home. Now, if you haven't selected your program yet, you may feel pressure to choose programs based on market needs rather than something you really like. Potentially, this can affect your career satisfaction, right? But that shouldn't be a problem. As long as you consider that living in Canada is your dream, you just do what's required, right? If your dream is to live in Canada and have an amazing life, this is fine. Select a program that aligns with the government and you will be okay. However, again, this is going to affect your free will, and you're gonna have to select something that, maybe not necessarily you love so much. Another huge consequence of this is that Canada is sending you a clear message that it's best to study in a university or to be a master's or doctorate student. This is also a lot more expensive. But on the other hand, it means that Canada is focusing on higher skills for applicants to eventually become permanent residents. So it does make sense. Now, a second thing is that with the increased language proficiency requirements, everybody needs to get a higher score that didn't exist before. You never needed CELPIP score for your PGWP. So this is going to cause problems as well, right? So first of all, I believe that a lot of people will be left out. They will not get their PGWP because they will not get their score required. So it's one thing to study in college or university, and it's another thing completely to take a test for this reason. A lot of people do well in university, but fail to get a 7 on CELPIP. I see this all the time when students come to me telling me that they got a 7 or a 6 and now they need help, right? So the second thing I want you guys to pay attention is you probably will need to prepare. In the past, you needed a language test like CELPIP only for PR. Now you're going to need it 2 times. One now for PGWP and another one for your PR. So here's the thing. Every single time you prepare for it, take time, you spend money on it. And so if you are smart, try to do it only once. But here's a catch. In order for you to do it only once, you're going to need to go above 7 or 5. You need to try to go for a 9 or a 10 because that improves your chances of getting your PR later on, because that improves, of course, your scores, right? So the scores that the government takes into account for your PR, right? So if you are smart and you want to do this test only once, try to get a 9 or a 10 right now, apply for your post-graduation work permit, and right away after you qualify, you're going to be able to get the PR earlier. So this will save you time and energy because, quite frankly, preparing twice for this exam and paying for the exam twice would be a huge pain in the butt. Another thing is this will also save you money if you get your score right now, because if you only apply for PGWP after months of preparing after you graduate, this means that you will be out of work while you prepare for the exam. This could cost you $2,000-$3,000 a month, even more if you don't have CELPIP now. So what should you do now? First of all, choose wisely. So first of all, if you are not enrolled in any college yet, you have to check the list of in-demand occupations in Canada and align your studies with these fields so that you have a better chance to get a post-graduation work permit. Of course, the big ones are healthcare, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM fields, any types of trades. So in this case, there's no college for trades necessarily, any type of transportation and agriculture and agri-food. However, we need to wait and see what the Canada will say about the current students. So we need to know what Canada will say. Second thing, check with your college. If you are in a program right now, talk to your advisors. Now, be a pain in the ass with them. Go to your school, ask about it, and stay in tune for the latest news about this topic. I'm assuming the government of Canada will have to talk more about this because they have to release a list of which programs will qualify. Second, improve your English, right? Start early. Begin your language training as soon as you can. Language classes, online courses, exchange programs, anything you can do to improve your CLB scores. And probably the most important thing you can do is constant practice, okay? Have conversation, watch Canadian TV and radio, listen to radio, and take practice tests to build your confidence in the test. So in fact, if you want to get 7 days for free of my own CELPIP test to practice, I'm going to put the link in the description and also up here. And look, as you've seen, doing everything by yourself is going to be a pain in the ass, okay? So I'll also leave a link in the description for you to chat with one of my student advisors, and we can guide you and help you get an awesome CELPIP score on your CELPIP test. And you should be able to do this as quickly as possible because there's going to be way too many people trying to do CELPIP later this year after November 2024, and the spots will fill up quickly. It's going to make it harder for you to book your test, and it's going to delay your time to get your PGWP or your PR. And the more you delay those things, the more you're out of work and the more it's going to cost you money. So if you can, even if you're still a student in college now, have your CELPIP test ready now so that you avoid paying for this later on, all right? Remember, your journey to becoming a Canadian resident is within reach. You can do it. With the right strategies, you are going to be able to achieve your dreams, and I am here to help you. All right, Teacher Mike out. Subscribe if you like this video and drop a comment if you have any questions. See ya.